Ice Cube's War of the World movie is getting so much attention right now for basically just being a terrible movie. You can see on Rotten Tomatoes, it's currently sitting at a 0% score for critics and only 16% for audiences. So it's not as if there's like that disconnect where like, oh, critics hate the movie, but audiences love it. It's like, no, people universally do not like this movie, but it's still getting a ton of attention and it's getting a lot of views for Amazon Prime, which has led some people to believe maybe this movie was bad intentionally. But before we get into all that, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you can, leave a comment, hit the like button too, because it helps out with the channel. So I have this article pulled up from Forbes that I saw with the headline, Amazon's War of the World is so bad it may be an inside joke. Now, this is just speculation because we don't know for sure, but one thing is known is that when you go on Amazon and see this movie, it's declared, or it says on Amazon, #1 movie, and that's a huge streaming platform, despite the fact that it does have a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is strange to think about it like that, because it seems like the only reason people are watching this movie now is because they're hearing how bad it is, so they just kind of want to check it out for themselves. And that's why Paul Tassi over at Forbes, when he wrote this article, was saying maybe that was a deliberate effort on Amazon's part in order to get more attention on a movie that otherwise probably would have just been nothing at all. That's the premise. Surveillance operative Ice Cube tracks an alien invasion and tries to get his family to safety entirely through hacking and Zoom calls. It is exactly as bad as it sounds and is not just the worst War of the Worlds adaptation. It's being one of the worst movies of the decade and even of all time. I watched the movie after hearing that, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. The movie is awful on every level. The premise, the performances, the writing and directing, the CGI, the twists and turns, just outrageously bad. Past that, the entire thing seems to be an Amazon infomercial with the company directly integrated into the plot in a way that involves delivery drivers, Amazon drones, and gift cards as key aspects of solving alien invasion. So them having a bunch of product placement in the movie doesn't seem unusual because, I mean, it's an Amazon produced movie. So if they can put their own product placement in it, and even if they can integrate it shamelessly into key aspects of the plot, that doesn't necessarily mean that the movie was made bad intentionally, because there's lots of other awful movies out there where companies will just shamelessly shoehorn in a bunch of product placement. It doesn't mean that the movie was intentionally bad in order to get attention, but let's just continue on with this. The more I think about it, the less I believe that all of this is on the level. I am beginning to suspect that Amazon created a movie so purposely bad that they were attempting to make something on par with the famous The Room or any other movie that Mystery Science Theater 3000 might roast. I cannot think of another explanation in this era of scrap scripts and even canceled finished movies. It's just unreal to think that this made it to the release with people actually thinking that it's good. The movie's actors like Ice Cube and even Longoria are either phoning it in or acting 95% worse than we've ever seen them, perhaps on purpose. The movie's tagline is even "it's worse than you think." I mean, come on, they're having a laugh, right? Right? No, this is just assuming that the people who are responsible for greenlighting this stuff at Amazon are competent. We've seen a lot of terrible stuff come out of Amazon. Rings of Power is an example of that, something that's just so awful, but they spent significantly more amount on that movie. And there are, to be fair, people who do legitimately enjoy that, even if the audience for that is ever shrinking and they've lost a ton of money on that. At least when it comes to this movie, it was clearly done at a very low budget, and I believe it was shot during COVID, which explains for the manner in which they filmed this movie, kind of basically taking place mostly through watching screens or where actors aren't interacting with each other or anything like that. And this was something that Amazon produced as kind of like, okay, this is a novelty idea for trying to film a War of the Worlds movie, and they just didn't know what to do with it. They were sitting on it for years and they're like, well, I guess we can finally just release it and see what happens. And one of the things about this movie, since they shot it so cheaply, clearly, the fact that it's actually kind of gone viral and become a huge movie on their streaming service means that this movie is probably going to be financially successful for Amazon. Now, believe it or not, because right now I've been making videos talking about Fantastic Four and other movies like that, where the movie, even though it's a decently well received and a lot more of a competent movie, it's still going to be a financial failure, at least at the box office. This one might actually make money for Amazon, not only for viewership, but just from the simple fact that it's also just full of a lot of advertisements for the company. And it's working. War of the Worlds is so bad it's gone viral on social media, and with written in YouTube reviews mocking every minute of it. I mean, as I just said, I heard it was so bad that I went out of my way to watch it instead of movies that I've been meaning to check out with my limited time 28 years later. Now that's Power. So maybe there is some truth to that this movie, the fact that it's so bad that it's gone viral, that people are watching it now, and maybe that was all a deliberate effort on Amazon's part in order to try to just basically advertise their own services or just drive traffic to their streaming service. But as I said before, I think that would imply too much competence on the part over at Amazon. You can't really deliberately plan to make something so bad that it goes viral, because there's tons of bad movies out there, and there's really nothing about this movie particularly that sets it apart as being deliberately bad, or at least there was some effort. Maybe one can make the argument that it's kind of like what we saw with The Asylum in the past, where they would make movies that they knew the movie wasn't good. They just didn't care if the movie was bad or not, because they knew that if it was going to get any distribution whatsoever, that they spent so little on the movie that they would actually get their money back on it. Maybe Amazon figured that was the case when it came to War of the Worlds, that they're not spending any money on this movie anyway. So as long as it gets some type of attention, or as long as it's just on their streaming service, they're going to make their money back on it. And then you just kind of have the added bonus of just shoehorning in a lot of their own product placements for that. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think this movie was deliberately bad, or do you think it just happened to be a bad movie and Amazon just kind of lucked out as a result of the cultural conversation surrounding it? Comment below, and also if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news, and don't forget to click the like button and share the video out there, because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.